Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. You have stumbled upon the Gamer Social Club vidcast. I'm your host, Nathan, and I am joined by he's dropping the F bomb, Fraser. How are you,
Not
Fraser?
in the first 30. Not in the first 30
Damn
seconds.
it!
I'm good, bro. I'm real good. How are you?
I'm just fantastic.
Awesome. Awesome.
How are you, Russell?
I am doing all right. Didn't have to bear the heat quite as bad as last week.
Yeah, how's it going there? Is it starting to drop?
It's been mostly high 80s, low 90s here. So
Yeah.
I think 35 or so for you overseas folks.
Yep.
So it's a little bit more
No.
tolerable.
It's still pretty warm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
like
too
it.
warm.
No,
it's a bit.
no,
I
no,
mean,
no.
the so for Lady V that you didn't know, I think the first time I was on this podcast, it was 101 or 102 out.
So that's
Is that like
in the
over
50s.
40?
It's in the
Yeah,
50s.
In the 50s?
Yeah, I
I don't-
believe so.
No.
no,
That's-
that can't be right. Hold on.
I think it's isn't it just under double? I'm pretty sure it's
even the 40s, that's not acceptable for human
So,
consumption, surely.
in Australia. When it gets to a certain degree, they stop the trains because the train tracks start to warp.
Yeah.
And so you'll be waiting at the station, and it's like 1,000,000 fucking degrees, and then the screen just changes, and they're like, trains cancelled. You're like, how am I supposed to get home now?
Okay, so it peaked at 103 a few weeks ago on the day that we recorded, and that's 39.4 for you guys.
Oh, is it really? Oh, I thought it
Yeah.
was way hotter than that.
No.
39.4.
No, that's still
Nah,
that's still
mate.
absurd.
Yeah, it is hot.
I once went to India for work, and there was a red weather warning, and it was 43 degrees. And but I do think it was because it was 98% relative humidity as well, so you just couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just couldn't do anything.
The humidity is what
I'm-
gets me.
I'm quite happy if it's 20 degrees is fine for me.
Okay.
We don't usually get it much warmer than that in Scotland. Today it's been 22, up to 24, but it is still 90% humidity.
So you're just rocking
yeah.
a t-shirt out in 20-degree weather, huh?
Mate, that's summer for them.
Summer.
That's like going down to the beach, going for a swim in the sea.
Yeah, I was shorts and t-shirt today. 22 degrees is proper summer.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think it got down to 17 yesterday, and everyone's all wrapped up in jackets.
And if you haven't been able to tell from the voices so far, we are also joined by Lady V. How are you in your 22-degree weather?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm sweating a little bit. It's a little bit warm here for my Scottish temperament. But no, I'm great. I'm fantastic. It's been a couple of fantastic weeks for gaming.
Yeah.
So I'm sweating a little bit because of the heat in Scotland, but also because my backlog is slowly trying to kill me, I think.
Yeah.
It's probably the easiest way to put it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's awesome. We're pretty chill today. We don't really have any specific thing we were gonna come together and talk about, but so I just kind of wanted to hear what everybody's been working on because we've had a very busy week with the website. We've been reviewing a ton of different stuff. So I think there's at least one thing where we've all individually been reviewing and working on. But I would love to start with Lady V. Since it's been a while since we've had you. What have you been playing? What have you been working on?
Well, so for review wise this week for the site, I've been reviewing a game called Flock, which I'm sure a lot of people have seen. It launched on Game Pass a couple of days ago. It's so it's badged as a cooperative exploration monster hunter game, but I feel like if you say that, it's not really going to explain what it is to people.
Yeah.
Because So I hear cooperative monster hunting game, and I'm like, oh my god, co-op Pokemon. Like that was my brain. I was like, yeah, it's going to be co-op Pokemon. It is not co-op Pokemon. But it's still a very, very good game. But it's very cozy, very, very casual. I've not played it co-op. I started playing it on Wednesday when it dropped on Game Pass. Because well, one, I was reviewing it, and two, because I thought it looked pretty fun. But it's just really, really chill. You are uh, a bird raider, I think they call them.
Okay.
And you just sort of are there to fly about this island and catalog all of the different animals and stuff that are on it. And then every time you catalog a certain amount of animals, more of the environment and stuff opens up. I'm not entirely sure how it would work cooperatively, to be perfectly
Okay.
honest.
Yep.
Like it would be interesting if any of you guys are available at some time over the weekend.
Yep.
To jump on for like a little co-op session just to see how it works, because I'm going to preface this by saying that I'm a massive completionist, and if something looks like I could do it, I'm going to do it. So I started playing it on Wednesday, and I 100%ed it this afternoon when I finished work.
Holy shit.
So
Okay.
all the got
That's
all the
amazing.
achievements, got all the stuff that had to be done in it, because I was just like, I could do that. Like, and it is a very
Yep.
fun game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be
So
interesting.
there were no achievements for co-op stuff.
No co-op achievements, which I appreciate
Same.
as an achievement hunter.
Yep.
Like,
Definitely.
I love a co-op game, but don't tie your achievements to co-op. Like, just don't.
Yeah. No.
Um, but yeah, most of them were like maxing out your how all of the different species of animals and stuff like that you see. But yeah, it would be interesting if anyone's available to do a little co-op session to just see how it works, because it's so cozy. It's so like not really target focused. Like how would
Okay.
that work with co-op in my
Yep.
brain? Like
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But
I'd be keen
it
to
has been
jump
good
in
fun.
and have a play. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. How many people can play up at the same time?
4, I believe.
Okay.
Just by looking
Yeah.
at the press releases and stuff like that. So
I
I think it's up to 4-player co-op.
Okay.
So like when you hunt these monsters, are you like hunting to kill them, or are you like capturing them?
No, you charm them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you ride about on a bird. One of the biggest things about it is you have to you also get sheep.
Sure.
So
Yep.
you find random sheep that can fly. You take the sheep around while you're like flying about on your bird. You can't run about on land or anything like that. It's all flight based.
Okay.
But it has a really good mechanic in the fact that you don't control the height of how you fly.
Yep.
So you just control the direction, and I think that's a really good thing, because otherwise I think the controls would be pretty jank.
Yep.
But so you take your sheep to random little mounds of grass, and then they eat all the grass. And once you've eaten all the grass on the mound, then you'll find like one of the little animals in it, and it usually has something called a whistle. And then you take the whistle, and you can then use that specific type of whistle to charm animals of that species. And then
Okay.
it's like so you do a little bird song at them, and then
Yeah.
they join you and your flock, because that's why it's called flock.
Oh,
And
I
by the
get
end, I
it.
think you
Yeah.
can get like you can get like 30 different animals in your flock, and you just fly around, and you've got like your sheep, and you've got all your little flock and stuff. It's very, very cozy, and it's a lovely, lovely game. But I would be interested to see, considering how it's so cozy, exactly how the multiplayer is supposed to work.
Yep.
Because I feel like
Yep.
it might just be like, come check out my cool like bird guys that I got by whistling at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
from like, I don't know if you remember back I can't even remember what the games were called, but there was a period of time where they would make things co-op, but you wouldn't actually be anything. So there's the main character, and they're player one, and then player two would be like an orb that just floats around with them, and you just like shoot
Yeah.
something. Like it's not co-op.
Feel like that was more in the 360 days, wasn't it?
Like maybe the
Uh-oh.
probably. I don't think I've seen anything like that like recently.
Yeah.
But
No, that's exactly what Super Mario Odyssey 2-player is.
yeah,
You're Mario and someone else is just Cappy. Like the second player
yeah,
is just the hat.
yeah.
And you can go around and pick up gems and stuff, but you can't platform.
You're not actually playing the game. You're just there.
Yeah, you're a hat. You're just a hat.
Oh, that's so good.
That's crazy.
Phenomenal game.
Yeah.
And I understand that speedrunners do some really interesting tech where they are Mario with their hands and they're also the hat with their feet. Like
that's something else, man. That is something else.
So
yeah, I'm not good enough at games to be a foot hat. It's a thing. Foot hat, yeah.
How long would you say it took you to like fully complete that?
So about 10 hours.
About 10 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think obviously if you were a little bit more chill of an individual, I'm not necessarily the chillest individual in the world. Like as soon as I knew that I could like 100% it, I was like, right, let's optimize the route.
Yeah.
For 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like you could play it for a little bit more hours than that. Although I do have to say, and it will be reflected in the review that I'm going to write up tomorrow. I think once you collect all of the animals, very much like Pokemon, they're all fully captured in your creature diagram. Creature index or something like that.
Yeah.
And you can very much end the game there. It rolls credit, and you can just stop.
Yeah.
But there is achievements and there is like extra things for maxing out the research on all of the animals, and I wish they kind of went into that a little bit more.
I think I lost.
Apart from like an achievement.
Yeah.
I think. Sorry, we're having internet connection issues. You just kind of broke up for just a tiny bit. I don't think I really missed anything though.
Yeah, it's like damn that cloud strike.
Yeah. So you after you're done with it, after 10 hours, do you feel like there's more content to be had? Like even though you've done 100% of the achievements and all that stuff, do you feel like there's anything to go back to?
No. Even getting the 100%, I would say, even though 10 hours is not a lot.
Yeah.
After you've charmed all of the animals available, you have to charm a certain amount of them to max out the research level of that animal.
Yeah.
And it is a grind. Even though it's only 10 hours, the map isn't big enough to sort of warrant it. Some of them have really low spawn rates, and you're just sort of like farming areas. Yeah. And realistically, well, not realistic, like actually, there's literally there's nothing that would drive you to do that apart from if you are a completionist and you wanted the achievement. So once you max out one of the creatures, your aunt, so you're doing all this research for your aunt who's a zoologist, and she's like, oh, you've maxed out this creature, that means that once you see the creatures again or they're in your flock, they will glow.
But if I'm maxed out, what does that do? Like
no, they just visually they glow when they're following you around.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's nothing else of that. And but when you max out the rest of them, there's no dialogue, there's no
Okay.
cutscene, there's nothing. So it's very much you grind it up. I don't know if it was due to the Cloud Strike issue today, but my achievements weren't popping on my Xbox; they were only popping through my phone.
Yeah.
So I was like getting to the points where things were like maxed out, and the achievement wasn't popping, and it was like 30 seconds later, my phone would buzz, and I was like, "All right, that's maxed out."
Right.
Yeah.
And it kind of takes out a little bit of the. I think the expertise achievements where you grind up those points take a little bit away from the comfy cozy vibe of the game.
Okay.
When I rolled credits on it and I completed the decks, if we're going to call it Pokemon terms, I was really happy, and I was like, "That's a really cute, cozy little guy." And then grinding out, and I'm not obviously everyone's not going to grind it out, but those achievements are there, and they're also tracked in your log, your creature log,
Yeah.
of whether or not you've maxed them out. So it's like you're told it's something you should do, but then once you do it, there's literally no incentive to do it. So
Okay.
I was a bit disappointed at that point, to be honest.
Yeah, that sucks. How much does the game cost?
Oh, I'll have to look up. I downloaded it on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's on
obviously,
Game Pass.
so-
Oh, okay, okay. So I mean,
Um,
either way, anybody with Game Pass is able to try it out. Is it on all
really
systems?
nice little cozy game, and I wouldn't say. Yeah, it's on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. It's not on Switch,
Okay.
but it is on them all, and it's currently retailing for about £15
Okay.
UK. So I think maybe $18. Again,
Okay.
it's like it's a lovely, lovely game,
Mhm.
and I had a really good time with it. Apart from the what would be called the post-game grind, which just
Right.
seemed completely out of place
Yeah.
for a little cozy, comfy guy.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. I didn't ask this beforehand, but it's been a while since we've seen you. What have you been up to since vacation? I know you went on vacation, and have you just been busy with work since then?
I've been busy with work, but actually mostly I've been busy with the the Elden Ring DLC.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
was going to
right.
ask you about that. Yeah.
How's your
Yeah,
time with that
I
been?
was Elden Ring
Yeah.
DLC.
Come on, open up, V. Tell us all about it. Tell us all about it.
I mean, it was wonderful. I don't know if you've. The review was published today, so I don't know if you guys have had the chance to read my review of it. But I did give it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, nice.
I thought it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But the final boss can absolutely suck it, can fully suck it. Like
Right.
the
Yeah.
most overtuned boss I've ever experienced in a FromSoft game.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand it, and when I completed it, I was like, yeah. But also, I didn't necessarily get that same feeling I usually get from beating really difficult bosses in FromSoft games.
Yeah.
It kind of just felt like I got a bit lucky. There's so many just bullshit moves there, and I was like, I mean, obviously, and feel free to write in the comments because one, it gives us good engagement, but two, it's probably true. Feel free to write skill issue. But yeah, I just all there's so many good bosses in it. Mesmer, oh, Mesmer is so good. Oh, he's so good. He's like
Yeah.
one of the best bosses I think that FromSoft's ever made.
Really?
Bale, my beloved. Well, not really. Curse you, Bale. We're Egon fans right in this house. But yeah, there was so many good moments. But yeah, that final boss fight was just brutal. Like
took it out of you,
so
did it?
brutal.
Yeah. I've been
Do
hearing
you
some
think-
intense things about it.
Yeah, same. Do you think you'll do another playthrough of it? Like, will you do a new game plus, or is there a new game plus for the DLC, or is it kind of
there's
part
not a
of
new.
the?
Yeah, so like every Dark Souls game and stuff like that, it's just all part of the game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and if it wasn't for the fact that I saw so many other people struggling with it online, I would have blamed my own hubris because I played the DLC in New Game Plus.
Okay.
Because I started up a new character, realized I did not have time to get to Moog, and then I
Yeah.
was just like, sack it. We'll just
Yeah.
take New Game Plus character over there.
Yeah.
And I did make that mistake the very first time I played the DLC of Dark Souls 1, and I got one shot consistently by Artorias. Like just like once he buffs up.
Yeah.
My health bar was off of the screen. You couldn't even see the full health bar. Once he buffs up, he will one shot you in New Game Plus.
Okay.
So that's a warning for anyone who's not played Dark Souls 1 yet. But I think the way that we did the shadow, yeah, like spoilers from the game
from like what 10 years ago now.
It has to be
Maybe
over.
more?
so much longer than that. Yeah, the original Dark Souls came out in the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Like,
Wow.
I think it came out in 2008 or 2009.
I'm looking it up now.
Did you change up your play style? Because like from what, so I played the vanilla game, and I never finished it. I loved it, so there's no reason that I didn't finish it. I just kind of fell off it because other stuff came out. But from their play style, in order to in order to make the DLC like even playable for them, like did that happen to you?
So I found a new weapon.
Yeah.
But it was still just a Dex weapon.
Yeah.
I always play Dex in Dark Souls games. I understand that some people have some opinions about that.
Yeah. Do you do that because of the speed? Like, is Dex serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like
I can't do the big unga bunga. Wait 5 minutes. I understand. Like poise damage is a massive thing. It's really important. I don't care. Like I don't have the patience for it.
No.
So I did not change my playstyle really.
Okay.
I got a cool new weapon, the backhand blade.
Yeah.
Like the two reverse swords.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That just they're just so cool. And and I do understand like the DLC is punishingly difficult. And if you chose to or had to change up your playstyle in order to play it and enjoy it, I completely understand and respect that. I just only like to play games or Souls games in one way, and that is low damage but incredibly fast.
Yeah, same.
And my main priority, and has always been since I completed the original Dark Souls, is just like nah, but what about the fashion? Like, so,
yeah. I know all about that. I play Warframe. Like I know about fashion frame. Like
fashion. I've never heard of the term fashion frame before, but I appreciate it.
The end game of Warframe is fashion frame. That's it. There's nothing. You get so fucking powerful that you just one shot everything, and you're like, oh well, let's make myself look pretty.
Yeah. I think more games should be that way. I mean, people are always saying that video games are for the boys, right? Like we have there's a lot of conversation about video games are for the boys, but I mean, how many people are firing up their video games, fashion shows, fashion frame? Like essentially, it's like a little bit of Barbie dress up. Like you're picking out your outfit, and you're just going in for that. Like,
and I don't.
Oh, I was just gonna say interior designer simulator. I mean, AKA Starfield for me. Like, we had this maintenance guy come over to our house one time, and we had talked like a little bit of video games before, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Starfield's not really my thing," but he saw me playing it, and he was leaving. And he was like 1 foot literally out the door and 1 foot in the house. And he just stared at the TV. And the reason he was staring at the TV was because I was trying to set this object down on a shelf just perfectly, and I was like jumping up and down trying to get the angle just right. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like,
In a single player game that no one else is gonna see.
"No
but
one else
you.
is gonna see this."
I know.
Oh my gosh!
Video games are for people that appreciate the aesthetic.
Right,
Like,
right.
people of taste.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
People of taste and culture.
exactly. Oh my gosh!
And if I want to look like a slutty bird with a wizard hat on, like, I'm gonna look like a slutty bird with a wizard
I'm
hat
doing
on.
it. Yeah,
Right.
that's it. Yeah,
That's awesome.
so good, so good.
And then let's see.
Sorry, Nathan. Before we carry on, I've got a question for all of us. I wanna get to know you all a bit better, like with our gaming backgrounds and stuff. So, my question is, do you have a genre of game that you just cannot get into, but yet you try and try and try again to play these sort of games, but then there's just one game that kind of grabbed you of that particular genre? So like, I'll start. I flying games, anything that has like an aeroplane in it, I fucking hate it. I feel like you're constantly just turning, right? The whole game you're just turning in these like dog fights trying to find your target, and you find it and then it's gone again, and you're like, fuck. So there's this one game called Chorus. I don't know if any of you have heard of it or seen it. It's like
It was on Game Pass.
Yes, it was, and that was the reason that I played it. One of my friends was like, he was playing it, and I saw that he was playing it, and I was like, what the hell's this game? And checked it out, and it's like a sci-fi space flying. You never get out of your ship. It's always flying, but just the way that they did the maneuvering of the flying was just so well done, and they just made it so easy. Yeah. Great game. So, do any of you have anything like that?
I mean, I agree with you that I really do not like flying in games.
Yeah.
Unfeasibly into Microsoft Flight Simulator
Right.
when it came out.
Yeah.
The most recent one, that I actually bought like a full setup for it. So I've got
Amazing.
like
Yep.
the
Yep.
and I try and tell people this who don't play games and they laugh, but I'm sure you guys get a laugh out of it as well. But it is called a Thrustmaster 5000.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it
is. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I bought myself a Thrustmaster.
Do you?
So I could fly about in a Cessna little plane around the UK. I literally just fly from like Glasgow to London because it's a flight I've done loads of times before, and I'm like, this is great. Like,
Yeah.
this is so good.
Oh, that's. Do you think it's the like just the chillness of it that like, because like for me with flying, it's like the constant chasing of that enemy. You know, you've got your little dot. The little dots are like off screen, and you're like, oh, I need to go that way, and then you fly that way, and then the dots are just constantly moving around the screen, and I fucking hate it. Like I wanted to get into like, what is it, like Hawks, and then there were a couple of like flying.
I remember trying to get. I remember very vividly playing like Star Wars Squadron.
Yep.
And thinking it was a really, really cool game, and just being shit at it.
Yep.
Like, genuinely.
Yep.
Yeah, because you were right. It's just like the little
enemy dot thing.
Yeah, it's just always off to the side. And
Yeah.
my assumption is it's just because I'm just bad at game.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I agree.
again, as people in the comment will point out after my comments about Radan like
Yeah.
weekly's
Me too.
content. Yeah, just like I'm just bad at games. But yeah, no, yeah, and I do think one of the things I think that I really liked about Microsoft Flight Simulator is because like when you're flying, it's pretty chill. But I don't know, I got really into like all the technical bit about doing all the landing and the takeoff
Mhm.
sequences and stuff like that. It was like just that right type of nerdy. So I do a lot of like programming and macros and stuff at work.
Yeah.
And it was that right level of just like push button thing happen that my brain was like, oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Okay.
mm,
What
like,
about
yeah.
Russell?
So that's
Have
probably
you
about
got?
the same as me. Yeah.
Yeah, Russell, you go
You got
next.
anything?
'Cause I'm still thinking.
Yeah. Or even just a genre that you just don't like and you've just tried over and over again to like play these games and it's just like I just cannot do this.
I mean, I could give you a series. It's called Final Fantasy.
Yep. Yep.
But no. To that, I'm gonna sort of modify your description a little bit. So,
That's
turn-based
against the
games have
rules.
really been a struggle.
Yep.
Turn-based games have really been a struggle with me. Every once in a while, one grabs me. As a kid, actually, the first turn-based game I played was Pokemon Red. Loved it. And then years later, tried Final Fantasy VII. Hated it.
Yep.
Really liked Dragon Age Origins. The little bit that I've played of it.
Did you play that fully on the PC? I just want to ask on that point because
Dragon
on
Age.
yeah,
The first time I tried Dragon Age was on the 360, I think. I think
yeah,
it was on
because
console.
yeah, I just like because I posted a tweet about it when they were showing off Veilguard, and apparently the PC experience is really different from the console experience
Okay.
because the console experience, like there is the tactical camera which kind of is a bit turn basedy,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just not the same way that it is. I think the PC version is much more like almost like an old school like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. But
Right.
yeah, it is interesting to hear
Probably.
other people's thoughts on on Dragon Age Origins,
I
and how
will.
it varies from platform to platform.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, I will say I've had some struggles with the second Dragon Age on PC, but those are more. So as these other two will tell you, I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to the PC side of things. So I'm running MSI Afterburner a lot. Apparently, the second Dragon
yeah.
Age will not launch on PC with MSI Afterburner running in the background. It's really weird.
Okay.
That's strange.
That is weird.
Yeah, it's very like I
It's such an
literally was
old
like,
game as well. Like,
Yeah.
so just,
that
like,
might be part of the problem. But yeah, so turn-based with me again. I get grabbed. Pokemon, Dragon Age, the first South Park RPG, Stick of Truth by Obsidian, I liked a lot. Didn't care for the second one. So like, yeah, I would say turn-based games for me are they're definitely a struggle.
Yeah.
Something about them has got to grab me. Obviously, with Pokemon, it was fucking Pokemon, and it was the 90s, so I was a kid. Of course, I was gonna love that. Dragon Age, story, choice, and consequences. South Park, Stick of Truth, I just laughed my ass off.
Yeah, it was funny. It was just a funny game.
Yeah, those are the only three that are sticking out in my mind right now that really grab me. Maybe there's one or two more I can't think of, but overall, like, as soon as I figure out turn-based combat, I'm just like, well, this is not
Yeah.
what I want.
I think it's the pacing for me. Like, I need it. Like, I don't know. It doesn't. You attack and then you wait,
Yeah.
and then you attack again and then you wait, and then they attack and then you wait, and I don't know, mate. Yeah.
You might not be a big fan of Baldur's Gate then.
I have tried Baldur's Gate 3. All I can say is I owned it for a while on Steam and I don't anymore. But just I don't know what it is, and I've had some friends like accuse me of like, oh, you only like action games. Well, that's not true because I got really into the Life is Strange series.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying the medium right now, and those are not action games at all. Not in the least. So I don't know what it is about like
Yeah.
probably the pacing, like you said, but I don't know. They have to have something about them that really grabs me other than the turn-based combat because turn-based.
Sure.
Have you played any of like the and I think the first I don't know how to say it like because I literally it's because I literally don't know how to pronounce the word, but it's like the you elite Euden Chronicles, like the 100 Heroes came out earlier on this year. I literally
Wow.
just don't know how to say that word.
I don't
You can
know
all
it.
make fun of me.
Uh,
Um,
that sounds familiar, like I've heard of it from somewhere, but definitely.
Okay.
yeah. There was a big buzz about it because it was almost like a spiritual successor, and I do have um my PC open just now so I can look up to try and see what it is because I can't remember what the stuff was. But I played the first one that I played was not 100 Heroes, and again I can't remember what it's called despite the fact
I don't even know what you're talking
I
about. I've never heard this game before, ever.
I've heard the
so
name,
it,
but
it,
I
it,
don't
it
know what it is.
yeah so
Uh,
it oh it's a spiritual successor to the Suikoden series. So it's like JRPG, but not really JRPG.
Okay.
But I played the first one that I played was on um Xbox Game Pass. Was it
Mm-hmm.
called Rising? Yeah,
Mhm.
and it was really, really, really good fun. Um, but it was sort of kind of turn based, but not fully turn based. Like it's like 2D on a screen. But then the second one, the combat was, or the newest one, 100 Heroes, the combat was very different. Because you've got a party of like six. But it had very similar to maybe like an Octopath Traveler or something like that. It's got the action bar in the top. So it is turn based. However, you can do things to influence the action bar. So you can influence how those turns play out, or to push an enemy's turn back, or increase your turn and pull it forward. And I don't know if that would maybe be something that would be more, still turn based, but maybe more your
Spice
speed
it up a bit.
because you have a little bit more control over, or there's a little bit more tactics there, or I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe even a
Yeah,
tactics game.
I'll
maybe.
take a look at it.
Like yeah,
I will say that I also enjoy. This is gonna sound strange. I've played the first couple as the horror,
Yeah.
as you two know, and as you're learning. Um, so and those are definitely turn based, almost aggravatingly so.
Yeah.
If you guys ever, if you haven't played them, if you play them, you'd understand. Talk about games running at like 15 or 20 frames a second. But even like the old Pokemon games, when I go back, I'll only play them through emulation now, because you can usually speed them up. And
Yeah.
I still play the old Pokemon games from time to time, but I don't think I could play them on old hardware anymore. Just because the battles get so monotonous after a while, for me anyway.
Yeah.
Um, but
oh
yeah,
no, I feel that.
I've got them. I've got both of these games pulled up. I'll go ahead and wishlist them. Maybe if they go on sale.
Give it a yeah.
Yeah,
I've
I
never
mean,
heard of
I'm
the.
not gonna lie, the first one, and again, I just can't say the word like
You don't
like
have to. You don't have
Eudian Chronicle Rising. I just downloaded it from Game Pass, and I quite like a turn-based game, but it's not necessarily something that I always gravitate towards. And I don't know what it was about it, but I like completed the story and then restarted it on hard mode over like a weekend. I don't know. There's something just sucked me right in about that game.
That's amazing.
It was almost, it felt like it was like that sort of little grind that you would get with like a JRPG but condensed, because you can complete the whole story in like 15 to 20 hours, and then start it on, well, not start it on hard mode, but go and do the bosses again on hard mode and grind up your gear a little bit. So maybe it's the way that like Phrase feels about like live service games. It was that little grind at the end.
Yeah.
Like that little end game bit, and I was just like, yeah, I got my teeth into that.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah.
So wait, which one did you say was on Game Pass?
The current 100 Heroes is just launched on Game Pass earlier on this year.
The original
Rising was on it, and then they took Rising off and put 100 Heroes on, which makes sense.
And I'm on PC, and for anyone that doesn't know, PC Game Pass is a little different. We do get stuff that the console players don't, and vice versa. It just depends. That's why I was wondering. Yeah, the newer one is on here. Maybe I'll download it and give it a shot. I don't know. We'll see how much longer.
Yeah, you might not like it, but
the Game Pass. So, but maybe, since it's on there, maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but manipulating the action bar at the top rather than just it being set turns might be a little bit better for you.
Okay.
I don't.
I'm glad Russell chimed in before I did, because honestly, that's what I'm just gonna have to steal yours, Russell, because I can't think of any. I am mostly just very much, I know what I want to play, so I don't typically spend too much time like trying out new things. I'll dip my toe in different things. Like, I forget what game it was last year that I dipped my toe into. I'm wanting to say it was like Slime Ranchers, or so it was that game where you like try to catch strawberries. Like, it was like fruits were like little animals. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, and do you vacuum them up with a little like vacuum gun?
Yes. Yes.
That's Slime Rancher, and it's a masterpiece.
Okay. See, I tried that and I just couldn't get into it. See, I just couldn't get into it. It just wasn't for me, and I don't know what it was, but like, so there's, I mean, I think those are like some examples. I guess so, yeah. It's like, hey, I take no offense. Like, I mean, seriously, I don't know if you watched last week's episode, but I admitted to the fact that, like, I was, like, torn between Starfield, Liza P, I'm blanking on the name again, that other From Software game, the mech game,
Armored Core.
Yeah, Armored Core.
Armored Core.
I was stuck between Armored Core, Baldur's Gate, and then I ended up going with Call of Duty because they had a Spawn season and I had to get the Spawn skin. So, like, ended up playing that for like 2 months. So, yeah, trust me, I take no offense. Somebody wants to accuse me of not having bad taste because I'm like, I have no ground to stand on. But, you know, yeah, I guess I just was like having a hard time getting into some of these games, and like, but however, I feel like turn-based ones are definitely hard for me. Because the first thing I wanted to say, just to be different, was like Metroidvanias, but we've talked about that before, about how that's just something I've tried getting into. I tried playing Metroid Dread, couldn't get into it. So I guess that's, you know, to answer part 2 of Fraser's question, yeah, like that's one genre I could never get into. And then part 1 of the question would be turn-based as well, because I mean, just like Russell, I grew up with Pokemon. I still love Pokemon. I will say that the older I get, the more it does start to feel a little more, I don't know, it gets a little harder to be as interested, like the lull of just constantly doing the same fights over and over again, and kind of and I personally, like, when it comes to my gaming style, I will find what works for me, and then I'll just stick to that. which like typically I'll find a loadout, right? And I'll just stick with an assault rifle. Like I'm an assault rifle kind of person, or DMR. And if I figure out that in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 that DMR is my gun, then that's pretty much all I use until I get burnt out, and then I quit the game in general. So a lot of people who will play games like Monster Hunter, because there's so many different types of weapons to use, that didn't appeal to me because I played Monster Hunter, but I didn't play it as long as others because I had that one weapon that I like to use. Once I got burnt out on the game, I wasn't that much interested in going out and using the other ones because I just didn't immediately click with them like I did whatever weapon it was I used. I can't remember.
Yep.
So, yeah, because I mean, again, with the turn-based thing, it wasn't just Pokemon for me. It was also, in contradiction to what Russell said, Final Fantasy. Like, I remember as a kid playing, I don't remember which title it was because I was a dumb, brainless kid. So, you know, it was just that thing of like, got it from a garage sale somewhere. I can't even remember what the numbers were on it. But I played a Final Fantasy on the Game Boy SP, and then eventually I got a PSP, and I didn't know what that Final Fantasy. Again, it was like I don't remember what Final Fantasy it was until Crisis Core came out recently, and I'm like, this is that Final Fantasy I was obsessed with, and I had to play it. And it was just so much fun going back to Crisis Core, and it brought back a lot of memories for me. But yeah, Final Fantasy is definitely another one where I found myself very lost in the story and the vibe of it, the world. And yet I just have never been much of a turn-based person. I feel like the last time, I know I'm kind of like flip-flopping between the two games, but like Pokemon as well, I feel like the last time I got into Pokemon pretty hard was Pokemon X and Y. I played X for like 160 hours. Since then, I think I finished Sword. I finished Sword, but then I immediately dropped off as soon as I finished the story. So I've been having a hard time getting back into Pokemon ever since. Like, I even did a whole thing with going to go get Pokemon Arceus because when they announced it, I was like, oh my gosh, like, is this going to be the Pokemon game we've all been asking for? Because everything about it, like, it really appealed to me. I'm like, I love the fact that you're like in this open world. It looks a little more AAA, I guess, not so top down view, same old, same old. I like that they were switching up the formula. I was here for it, and I got into it like pretty hard for like a week and just hard dropped. And I just never went back to it. I think it's because I think at some point I had heard from other people who had played it that it wasn't until they reached the end game that they really started getting into battles. And I'm like, I'm not interested in doing what I'm doing now for however many hours it was going to take to beat it, just to basically then finally start getting into the battles. It was like at that moment I realized just how essential the gym battles were to me. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
And actually, I was just going to, the end game of Arceus has like no battles really.
Really?
So once you complete like the final boss,
Yeah.
I feel like we can spoil the final boss now.
I
It's
mean,
been like
yeah.
4 years, right?
Yeah, spoilers for RCS
Yeah.
and 3, 2, 1. It's your own fault for staying around.
Yeah, so once Volo does his full Arceus cosplay and then just whips out 6 full Pokemon and then a Giratina and then another Giratina. Um, once you've done that, that's kind of the last major battle. Like
Yeah.
the coin sisters will occasionally like ambush you while you're running around
Mm.
catching Pokemon, but there are no proper battles like in the end game of that. The end game of Pokemon Legends Arceus is catch all the Pokemon so you can complete your paper Pokedex so you can then go and throw bags of food at God. Like that's
That's crazy. See,
um,
I'm kind of glad I dropped off then, because I realized I'm like, oh yeah, if I'm not here for the Pokemon battles, I don't think I'm really Pokemon doesn't really have me that much anymore. And even at that, like I said earlier, the battles have kind of started to lose me a little more the older I get. But with that being said, I'm still very much into Pokemon Go. Like I'll still every now and then get like really lost into that. And that's mainly just because it's such an
what you're
easy
saying
for.
is you.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So what you're saying is you don't want to throw bags of food at God. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not
Not
into
every
sacrilegion, okay? Not all of us. Sorry.
Yeah, not every day. I mean, maybe
Not
on
every-
Wednesday after work I might.
Cat sacrifices on
Depends how
Mondays,
bad-
but
Yeah.
Eh, Depends how bad the day at work has been.
Yeah.
How many sandwiches do I
Yeah.
want to throw at God that day?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. But yeah, no,
Oh, that's great.
I am excited for Arceus 2 though, like to see where that goes. Like as soon as they announced it, I immediately was like, all right, let's go. Like I hope they heard our feedback and they're taking from that. But yeah, I am excited for that. Like that will, if that game comes out on release with the Switch 2, then I'll probably get a Switch 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Super Nintendo
100%
Switch.
Pokemon Legends Arceus, like
That's awesome.
to get the shiny charm,
Yeah,
so I could then just go and find all the shiny Pokemon.
yeah.
But yeah, when they announced Pokemon ZA, like Pokemon X, Y,
hmm
Z, is my favorite series of the anime.
Really?
Like, because
Okay.
I'm that kind of Pokemon nerd.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a
Love it.
33-year-old woman. I still watch the Pokemon anime, and there's
Hell
nothing anyone
yeah.
can do about it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But yeah, when they were like, when they did the Pokemon Direct, and they were like, Pokemon Legends, and they did, well, first they did the run through, like the blueprint and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and I was like, that's Lumio's say. We're going X and Y, and then I was like, oh my god, they're making Pokemon,
Yup.
Pokemon Z, they're making Pokemon Z, and then it was like Z A, and I was like, that's it, done. Like, Nintendo, take my money. I know that you're so scummy all of the time with so many things, but oh my, you can have it. I will throw it at you.
Right.
Just like throwing sandwiches at God. Nintendo, stand there. I will throw my money at you. Like,
Yeah.
Just take it and
Yeah.
give me my stuff.
Have
give it to me. Give it to me.
have you? Well,
Give me
see.
back Mega Evolutions. Give it to me.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm with you 100% on that. I miss my Mega Charizard. Oh my gosh. See, there are two types of people in life, and that's the people who understand Pokemon and the people who don't understand Pokemon. And when I say that, I mean I am also I'm about to hit 30 here soon, and like I've got Pokemon plushies like all over the back of my car. So like I'll get hard into Pokemon for a while. Like whenever I buy a pack of Pokemon cards, it's like, all right, here we go again. And like this starts the obsession up for like 3-4 months, and then I'll just kind of like, ease off of it a little bit. But that obsession's always slightly there, at least a little bit. But yeah, you got the two people in life where the one who will drive by and like, so you got kids, huh? When they see the plushies in the car. And then the other half are like, bro, I like your plushies. I'm like, all right.
So good.
But yeah, shoot, dude. Have you seen the Netflix Pokemon show?
No. No.
Concierge.
Yes, Concierge, Pokemon Concierge.
I've not watched it. But,
Oh, you gotta watch
I'm
it.
aware of it.
It's
Yeah.
really good. It's really, really good. Like we were, as a family, very excited to like sit down and watch that show together. And that's like Pokemon's been one of the coolest things, as far as like me connecting with my kids. It's what I what I grew up with, and now my kids love it just as much. And I've got stories for days, but like just since we were talking about Arceus, I'll go ahead and share this one. When that game came out, I went ahead and held my daughter back. She would have been 2 or 3 at the time. I mean, she was old enough to walk and talk, and so I held her back from school that day, and I was like, "Hey, like we're gonna have a Pokemon day," and we made sugar cookies together and used red and white icing to make Pokeballs out of the sugar cookies, and we took them into
So good.
GameStop. I've still got pictures and videos of it somewhere on my phone, but we took that into GameStop
That's
and
so cute.
on the release day of Arceus, and that's something I'll just always remember. I only played the game for a week, but I'll always remember making cookies with her and going in
So
and
cool.
watching the concierge and watching the cartoons, and she loves the original 90s Pokemon just as much as I do. It's just been a timeless thing, and it's no one I could go on for days about Pokemon, so I should stop, but it's no wonder that it's like number one entertainment around the world. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I mean, but that could bring in a good topic of conversation, because you saying you sat and made cookies with your daughter and like took her to GameStop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like my dad got me into video games by showing me how to like build a PC when I was like 5.
Yeah.
and then like it was like, this is Command and Conquer. We're gonna play this.
Yeah.
And then also we after that we also got a SNES, which was amazing. But yeah, like, did you, like, Russell, Phrase, did Nathan, did you guys like play video games with your parents growing up? Like, did they get you into it, or did you just get into it separately?
I did a little bit. I did with my dad, just a tiny bit. And it's funny because when my little sister was born, I remember being like, there's only 4 controllers. Like, what are we supposed to do about this? We played like
Brutal.
we,
Absolutely
You're the youngest,
And-
you don't get to play.
yeah, pretty much. And
You can't play anymore.
oh my gosh. Like, but Mario Party, I was like, how are we gonna, like, we only have 4 controllers. There's only 4 slots for the controllers. What are we gonna do about this, guys?
We can't take turns, no fucking way.
Yeah, I think I would have been like 6 years old when that happened, 6 or 7. So yeah, I was just like, that was my conundrum. I was like, I wasn't concerned about, the jealousy or, all the baby's gonna take all the attention. I'm like, we've only got 4 controllers, people. But
It's amazing.
I always go Yoshi as like the new baby allowed to go Yoshi. I feel like that's not allowed. That's my character.
yeah, right.
Can't.
There's only 4 controllers.
I mean, luckily now with the Switch, it's like we can have a whole entire family over. We can all play Mario Party together, so that's not even an issue anymore. But I mean, I think when we had the Hypercharge interview, it's at the top of my head, which is why I'm so easily like, yeah, me and my dad playing that Toy Soldier game. That would be what my answer is. I remember playing that with him. He would play Smash Brothers with me. He would.
So cool.
I remember one time I was like, "Ha, take that, sucker!" And he's like, "Don't say that. That's not nice." And I was like, "Sorry." But yeah, he would play Smash Brothers with me sometimes, and he would play Call of Duty, and I'd have to take it easy on him. Hopefully he's not watching this, but yeah, there would be times where I was just happy that he would take the time out of his day. Like, I knew he was tired from work. He had a very physically demanding job, so it always meant a lot to me when he'd come down and play some games with me. And so I just wanted to play with him. I was happy that he was taking the time to play with me. So I wanted him to stay entertained and having a good time. So then I just like had to be like, shoot around him a little bit. Ah, crap! You got me.
Oh, you got me.
Yeah, I had to do that a little bit. But with that, I was thinking about that when I was thinking about playing that Toy Soldiers game. Was that Toy Soldiers game? We didn't have to do that. Like, I didn't have to do that. We just both had an equal amount of fun with that. But I'll shut up so somebody else can talk about memories with their parents.
What about you, Russell? Have you got?
So Yeah, it's funny you bring this up. I've told this story a lot, not to you guys. So my first video game memory had to do with my dad, my grandpa, not my dad's dad, but my mom's dad, and Tetris on the NES. I remember sitting in the living room and watching them play and not really having any idea what the hell was going on. And all of a sudden, randomly, my dad handed me the controller and not knowing anything. I mean, we're talking like I was born in 87. This couldn't have been any later than like 91 or 92, I think.
Okay.
I remember getting handed the controller, literally just holding down on the D-pad and watching everything stack up and obviously lose within like 20 seconds. And then my dad kind of made fun of me and actually showed me how to play.
Yep.
So
As any
yeah,
good
that
dad
was
does, yeah.
yeah.
It-
So that was
the
how
making
that all
fun
got.
is important. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, shit talking is important. And
it,
obviously I'm a Mario fan. I don't know how obvious that is. But yeah, that and then playing Mario 3 a lot with my mom and my cousins too. But yeah,
That's very
Mario,
cool.
I still bust Tetris out now and again too because it's fucking Tetris.
Super Mario Bros. 3, we had a SNES, and it was the Super Mario All Stars edition that we got when I was like 5. Super Mario Bros. 3 was like maybe the second video game I ever played, and I still, to this day, it's still in my top like 5 video games. I still think it's one of the best platformers ever made. Like that game is immaculate. So yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
it really is.
Amazing. Yeah.
To this day, there's 2 games I always go back and beat almost every year. One of them Super Mario Bros. 3, and the other's The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is about those two.
Both.
I always go back and beat them.
Presumably, it's because they're both immaculate. Like,
Yeah.
like
Well, that depends on
both
who you
10
talk
out of
to.
10s, no notes. Like, well,
The new generation would hammer you on calling Ocarina of Time a 10.
That's the best one.
no,
That's the best one.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
it's a
Without a doubt.
it's a 10 out of 10. There's no
Mm.
notes. Like
I'm
I
not
don't care
arguing
what
with
people
you.
think
I'm
about
just
the
saying
Water
I know
Temple.
younger
I
people
don't
that would
care.
do
Like,
I mean, you gotta admit, even like Nintendo people, it's like it came out for the 3DS, and we were just like by that time next year, people were like, "All right, what about another remaster though? Like, let's go again."
Yeah.
We've been talking about
I've
remasters
got
for 20 years.
I got a very different gaming experience than you three. Like, my parents were, video games are a waste of time. We don't want them in our house, and that was it. So we didn't have a computer. I didn't have anything. I didn't get into gaming until like I was maybe 15, 16.
Oh wow. Okay.
I got a PlayStation 1. When I reckon I was maybe 14 or 15 was when I got my first console. I had to save up for it, and I bought it myself with like saving up like Christmas money, birthday money, all that kind of stuff. When I was sick from school, sometimes we would rent a console from the video store. So I would have like little snippets of it. All of my friends had video games.
Yeah.
So it's not like I didn't play them. I just never had them at home. So like I'd go over to my friend's house, and his family were just like Nintendo. They had all the Nintendos, and they had all the weird obscure consoles like the Dreamcast and like stuff like that. So
when you said he was all Nintendo, then weird, obscure. I'm like, imagine you go to your friend's house and they just had like a Virtual Boy, just set out on the table.
Yeah, like, and so like we'd play GoldenEye all the time, and then went up to Perfect Dark, and then Time Splitters came out on the GameCube, and so like we'd play
Time
Time
Splitters is also immaculate.
Oh,
That's a 10 out of
such
10.
such a good game.
I just picked that up not too long ago.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, I haven't played it for years. I'm sure it's still brilliant, and so like I bought this PlayStation, and then again I didn't have any games for it, because I bought the PlayStation myself. I'd rent a game every now and again. I'd buy the magazines with the demo discs. And
Yep.
so I just had like not hundreds, but I had like 5 or 10 like demo discs that I would play. Funnily enough, the first game that I actually ever bought on my PlayStation was Command and Conquer, but
Amazing.
not Red Alert, none of that nonsense. I was like the
No.
GDI, the Nod, the like the real
Proper
time.
Command and Conquer.
Yeah, right. None of this Allied Soviet bullshit. It was like the Global Defense Initiative and the Brotherhood of Nod.
Brotherhood of Nod. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I would always.
I do quite like Red Alert.
Yeah.
But that's because I've been playing it since I was 5. But no, you're right. Like,
Yeah.
we need Kane. We need Kane here.
Yeah.
And we need tiny weird bikes for some reason. With
and the mammoth tanks.
Aircraft
the GDI
missiles
had
on
the mammoth tanks, and you just build up a bunch of them and just send them in and fucking hammer everything. And they also had the commando dude who could like blow up the buildings just instantly.
Tanya.
Is that yeah. So
now I'm just thinking, I play Command and Conquer like, well, I used to. We've not done it for a while, but once a month, me and my dad play Command and Conquer still online together.
So cool.
But now I'm thinking, oh my god, Gamer Social Club Command and Conquer
Command
tournament.
and Conquer, that would be so good.
Like round robin tournament on PC.
Yeah.
Do we all have PCs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think most of us do. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I bought
it's on
Conquer
PC
pack.
Game Pass.
Yeah.
If you've got because PC Game Pass comes with EA Play.
Oh.
So it's on PC Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should do it.
As long as it's not number 4, because that game's offensively bad. But
I don't think I ever played it. No, we got like Brotherhood of Nod.
Yeah, do not. If you've never played it, do yourself a favor and don't.
Yeah,
okay.
Those, like the laser fucking like scorpion tail defense turret.
Yeah.
And it would shoot out the lasers.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
The original,
so
I'm
good.
not gonna lie, the original, the remaster of the original that came out in 2020 during the pandemic, that was the one that me and my dad play online together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a really good remaster, and that's the one that's on Game Pass. Okay. I think when you get into the Discord, we need to do.
Yeah.
Oh, we could stream it. Like,
yeah.
we definitely stream that. Yeah. Like, Gamer Social Club, Command and Conquer.
Yeah.
Tournament.
Now's the time to do it because I kind of been wondering, I'm like, okay, I wonder if we'll do something for Concord or some other kind of multiplayer, but like that would be a great idea. Definitely to start dipping our toes into the water with as far as like streaming games and as a group, because I think it was after one of our recording sessions a week or two ago where we were like, how would we even go about doing that? So I would definitely love to do that. I've not played Command and Conquer, but I would down to be record it and like that, or at least try to figure out how to play it myself.
Much fun.
I mean, like
so much fun.
I love Battle for Middle Earth, so I mean, I assume that I would love it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the quintessential RTS. You get it's really simple, and Russell and I now know that. Fraser just builds loads of mammoth tanks, and Nathan has never played it before, so we're gonna dominate. Like, deal with it.
So funny story. I beat the original Command and Conquer on the N64, and I've been playing them ever since. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
So I'm on Russell and I are in the same team. So Russell and Lady B versus Fraser and Nathan. That seems fair. Like,
Hey, mate,
okay.
I'll just roll them with my mammoth tanks and just
and
those little invisible bikes.
I'll have
bikes like
I'll have foot soldiers.
The invisible bikes are Brotherhood of Nod only, so you can't have that and a mammoth tank at the same time. Like,
we'll figure it out. Figure it out.
I've been playing Command and Conquer now for 29 years. So yeah.
That's so good.
Even with the real time, even if you asked me to play Battle for Middle Earth right now, I would still I never really had a strategy. Like it was always just build up as cool of an army as you can, and then then have it out.
I wish those Battle for Middle Earth games were like available somewhere. but they're
They're
So good.
yeah, if you try to go and find the first one, it's impossible. And if you try to get the second one for Xbox 360, wildly expensive.
Yeah.
not as expensive as on PC. I think the last time I checked, the first one for PC, a physical version, was like $300 or $400.
Oh.
Oh my
So
gosh.
Now I've only got War. I've got War of the North. That's completely different.
Yeah, totally different. Good game, but definitely different.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm about ready to close out of the tab, but 2011, Dark Souls 1.
2011.
Right.
Wow. I thought it was earlier than that.
See, I would have thought it's early.
That's probably just because I'm old.
Well, that's the thing is like I was having mixed feelings when I saw that too because I'm like feels so much older but also feels like a lifetime ago. So
And then-
yeah.
So just back to the and then I skipped PlayStation 2 completely. Never got one.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Sorry,
I-
we got into Command &
Yeah.
Conquer.
Yeah, right. And then Xbox 360 was my first like holy shit, I love gaming.
Yeah.
That was my so like I bought the first Xbox 360 game I got was Lost Planet.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved it. It was just like this is insane. And then like Oblivion came out and I got that, and then I got Assassin's Creed, and then I was just like I love gaming. Like this is incredible. And yeah, just from there it just kind of snowballed into whatever monstrosity this is now.
Is Lost Planet, is the first Lost Planet backwards compatible?
Ooh.
I'm like,
I'm not
because
sure.
I still have my disc of it.
Yeah.
I still have my Xbox 360, but
Yeah. So do
it's
I.
still hooked up to the
I've
television.
got a little Star Wars one back there.
Lost Planet, the first Lost Planet is backwards compatible, and
So-
apparently the servers are still up.
No.
Wait,
That's
on which game?
amazing.
Well,
On Lost
Lost
Planet?
Planet.
Wow.
Yeah.
the first Lost Planet,
Yeah.
according to Reddit, so please take that with a pinch of salt. But according to Reddit,
So
you
I
can still play Lost Planet Extreme Condition online.
I posted this a couple of weeks ago on Twitter, but I picked this up from a second-hand shop in the other day.
Oh.
Lost Planet, but it's like a
Oh, hell yeah.
book, and it's like in
It's beautiful.
perfect
That is
condition.
a beautiful steelbook.
Yeah, and
It's
it's got
gorgeous.
it's still got all of the like original things in it, like the booklet. I got
Does it
a
have the
full-
little card that says you can get 40 hours of
Yeah,
Xbox
48
Live?
hour free Xbox Live, unscratched, so I can.
Oh,
I can
hell
dump it
yeah.
there if I want. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. It's like I saw it and it was only a couple of dollars. I think it was like $4.
No
And I was
way.
like, yeah, I'll take that.
That's so
yeah.
cool. Lost
So
Planet was
I've
a
been,
gem.
Yeah, been adding it, added it to the list of things that I need to replay. I think for me, Lost Planet and Lost Planet 2 were incredible, but 3 like just completely lost me.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it that much.
That was
I've never played 3,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
again, I mean, I'm just adding more and more things to the list, but I'd be well up for a Gamer Social Club Lost Planet 2
Lost
session.
Planet,
because
that would be amazing.
Lost Planet 1 and 2, because Lost Planet 2 is I only started Lost Planet 2 like 2 years ago
Wow.
on backwards compatibility
Oh, really?
on my Xbox Series X, and it was great. So I'd be well up for a co-op version session of that. Like,
Yes,
it's very good.
definitely.
That's awesome. See, I think I
I've just
got it.
realized.
What's that?
No, sorry, Nathan, on you go.
No, you're good. I was just simply going to state that I think I had the third one, but I got it for free somewhere and never touched it as well. And then the second game, I do have that one. I think 2 is about the only one I fully played through, and then even 1 I kind of like played halfway through and dropped off. But sorry, go ahead.
No, I just realized that I talked about the game that I was reviewing this week, and then we never got onto the games that other people were reviewing.
Oh,
this week,
no,
we just got completely off track.
I mean, we talk about this almost every episode at this point. Like, I love coming into these episodes and just being like, hey, like here's an idea of what we're going to talk about, and then going where the conversation takes us. Because personally, like
We've had some brilliant conversations.
I'm all for a conversation about video games with our parents. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, I love that we're sitting there here having this conversation, because that's not something we could have like planned for. I mean, we could have planned for that, but it wouldn't have been as organic or real, you know. But I do kind of well, it's funny because you're trying to get it back on track. I'm like, nah, no, thank you, because because it actually reminds me of a question I was going to ask you, Fraser, about like when, because you said, because I can relate to what you were saying, right? Because I did have, mine was very like, see, my dad still played with me sometimes, but I cherish those memories because he did end up playing with me. However, it was that give and take. Like, I'll play with you for a little bit, but then I'm going to judge you if you play longer than that. So, you know, it was always a little, like, there was times where, like, my dad would go outside and mow, and then come back inside, and I was still playing Battlefield, and he's like, you're still playing that game? And, like, I was just like, yeah. But my mom was definitely a lot more harsh than my dad was about it. And I saw how my parents would talk about other adults playing games, and how, and I like, so it always made me very self-conscious growing up.
It's toll, doesn't it?
It really does.
Like,
that's what I wanted to ask you about.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
You should be outside fucking building something, or playing rugby, because I was from New Zealand, so I was fucking rugby. And like, I don't know, I just go around to my friends' houses and like enjoy this. Like, I was an only child as well, so that probably didn't help. But like, you know, the brother, like, there was that my friend that had the Nintendo, so there were 3 of them. So there was always people to play GoldenEye with. There was always like this and that. But yeah, it was brutal. Like, coming home and then being like, oh, I want this, and they're like, nah. Waste of time.
Do you still feel like as an adult, like there's still like that level of like maybe judgment? I don't know.
A little bit, because it took me so long to kind of get into it. I feel like I'm behind, and especially with what I'm trying to do now, like with my life, like, you know, we're getting into this whole podcast thing. We're like writing reviews and stuff for the website. Like, if I had been doing this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, like, how different would everything be? I know you can't look at life like that all the time, but like, it definitely is like, and even now when I talk about what I'm doing to them, they're just like they're interested, but like, I'm not a doctor, so like, I don't really understand what you're doing. Fucking, you know, this friend that you went to school with, he's doing really well. He like went off and did all this stuff, and you just play video games.
No,
the highest grossing entertainment media in the world. You know, like,
exactly. Like,
you know,
mum is definitely like coming around to it, but it's been a slog. Dad's just like, don't watch the screen for too long, your eyes will go square.
Yeah, we all heard that one.
I'm like, well, I want square eyes. I want them. Like,
actually, just implant the screen right into my eyes so I can play the games all the time. How about that?
Right.
So it was definitely. Sorry.
I know. I was gonna ask, like, so do you feel like it's? Do you still struggle today with kind of feeling like, I don't know? Because I think. Let me put it this way, because I don't know how to phrase the question, so I'll just share a little bit of my experience. Like, it is taken. So, I put my desk in the living room, right? Like, I want to be with my family. I want to be with my. I don't want to be off in a separate room. And I'm also well aware of like if I've been spending too much time playing video games. So I'm also kind of like in and out, and it's something my therapist has always talked about. She's like, "Oh yeah, I got no problem with that. You know, as long as you're actually spending time with your family." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's not a problem." I am very well aware of like if it's been a while since I've spent time with my kids or something like that. So that's never been an issue in my home. But like I have felt this like I've got my setup. I got, you know, you can see a little bit from the camera. Like I've got my curio cabinet full of nerdy stuff. And there was like always this level inside of me when somebody'd walk into my home of like feeling like a little bit weird. Like, oh, like they're going to think I'm childish, or like they're going to think or there's a level of judgment when somebody walks into my home of looking down on me because I am a nerd or whatever. And I did actually have a family member, I'm not going to say any names, but like I had a family member come in, and I had so we hit some financial struggles at one point in our marriage, and I had to sell my 360 and all my games and stuff because we were that bad off. So I was just trying to sell anything I could. So I had to sell all this stuff, and it was really hard for me. So what I did once we had a little bit of money, I took all the save data, put it on a Xbox USB, and then I put it in like a little glass case, and I made like a little template on it saying like how long I had my Xbox for, how much achievements I had gotten, what was my total gamer score and the lifespan of my 360 and stuff like that. Kind of like
so cool.
so that way I would have some kind of memorabilia from it, because it was like I'm very sentimentally attached to my things. Like I'm weird in the sense of I can look at like this Assassin's Creed statue. I can tell you how much I paid for it, when I got it, and where I got it from, and what was going on at that time in my life. So when I look at those things in my house, I am reminded of those. It's like looking at a photograph when I see this Lego set. I'm looking at a photograph when I see this steelbook, especially the Diablo 4 steelbook. I'll tell you about the day that me and my wife went around from GameStop to GameStop to GameStop. Oh, sorry, we've already given all the steelbooks out. That's how my brain works when I see this stuff. But there's always, it's like I am a fucking grown ass man who is ashamed of like the thing that I am so passionate about, that like somebody comes into my home and it's like, why do I feel that way? And I'll tell you, it's and again, I'm going to turn 30 here fairly soon, but it's like I have spent all of my 20s kind of confronting that, like learning to be okay, and like learning to be like, oh, you know what? Like, this is me. This is my passion. This is what I love. And I am not it's so weird. Like, it sounds a lot. I still feel weird just talking about it, but you know, and it's definitely because it's like the realization of this is going to be on the internet is hitting me now. But like, you know, but you know, this is me.
Pouring your heart out.
I am, because like now I'm just like, oh shoot, like I'm gonna get judged for this, but it's okay. You know, like
Fuck them.
you know, dealing with that realization of like I'm okay with this. This is who I am, and I don't why I ever felt that shame is weird. You know what I mean? And kind of confronting that has taken a long time. And I'm not strictly blaming my parents, but you know, there's a lot of people in my life who I would definitely say like added to that, or acted as if like it was because of my hobby that other things in my life weren't going that well, and it's like that wasn't the case. And
I can relate to that one, definitely.
Just having passion is not going to say, oh, I'm failing in other areas of my life. So with that being said, does my question make any more sense of like, is that also a struggle for you guys as well?
So like for me, like I'm gonna sound like I'm bagging on my parents, but I'm not, because I love them, and they were brilliant parents. Don't get me wrong, but like I listen to heavy metal. Mum had a huge problem with that. A huge problem. Like, I'd go into my room and like my CDs would be gone. And she's just throwing them out. Like I went off to uni, and I got some like heavy metal t-shirts. I came home with this like Cannibal Corpse t-shirt. I was fucking chuffed.
Fuck yeah.
And like it just disappeared. And I was like, oh fucking another one, great. So like
So wait, back at what Cannibal Corpse T-shirt exactly?
I had the Wretched Spawn T-shirt.
Okay.
So yeah, so
even
it's like
if a parent's accepting, I could see how that shirt.
Yeah.
Might
For those of you that don't know, it's got a lady giving birth on the front, and then there's like demons like ripping the fetus out of her. It's pretty brutal. It's pretty fucking brutal. Like, yeah. On a T-shirt,
I feel
right?
like I feel like my mum's response would just be like, "You're not wearing that outside, are you?"
yeah. My
You're not
mum
gonna
was
wear that
horrified, and it just disappeared.
I was gonna hold on, let's see. I got a picture of it here. I think I'm worried I can't show it
You're
on
gonna
YouTube.
flash up in the edit.
Yeah. It's brilliant.
That's great.
Yeah. So I had that on a
Put a
T-shirt.
link to it in the description of the video.
Let's see. Yes.
Yeah,
While
and
you're
it's just
at
like
it-
censored.
While you're at it, look up the album cover for Worm Infested.
Yeah, and like and even like Tomb of the Mutilated, or just like any of their album covers are just brilliant. But yeah, so
I mean, they are called Cannibal Corpse. Like, I
Right.
don't know what anyone's expecting.
I mean,
right,
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm not
wild.
gonna put this on YouTube, but go check it out. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
yeah, it's pretty grim.
Be
Pretty
warned,
graphic.
it's
So I
graphic.
don't like blame my mum for throwing those out.
That's great.
But,
That's
like,
great.
That was part of my like I was
What we are
always
saying is, go and listen to Cannibal Corpse. 'Cause
Right.
That's what we're saying. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Hammer Smashed Face is another great track. But yeah, so like I've always had that kind of push-pull relationship with my mother, and like so that never really kind of I was always just like whatever.
Mhm.
Like I'm gonna like what I like, and then I just started surrounding myself with like people that were like me, so I didn't really have too big a problem with that. And now later in life I kind of just have learned to accept it. Like if someone doesn't like my nerdy shit, then fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yep.
that's my attitude now.
Yep.
But like I'm a fucking lovable person, man.
Right?
we
So-
love you, Fizz.
Thank
Yes,
you. Thank
yes.
you. Thank you. So like people don't often have a problem with all my nerdy shit.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
But no, I do
Is it-
I do understand
Because
what
it's cool.
Right.
right.
I mean,
Everyone has weird stuff. Like I've got a workmate who loves running. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? Running. That's not a hobby. That's like
That's
that's
just
a
moving from A to B quickly.
quickly, yeah, right. And she's all like, "Yeah, I got these new running shoes," and I'm like, "I got fucking shoes as well." Like, what
I fucking 100% of the game from Wednesday to now. Okay.
right? How many have you done? None,
Exactly.
right?
I didn't even have to run anywhere.
Exactly. It was cozy the whole time.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry, I couldn't remember the name of the game off the top of my head. That you.
Flock.
Yeah, Flock.
Flock.
Yep, Flock.
Yep.
All right. Yep. Yeah, I love that. That's definitely, and it's funny you even bring up track because I literally had in my Facebook memories not that long ago when I was like 10 or 12, like bringing up like a friend of mine who was doing track because I think my mom even brought up a comparison. She's like, "You should do track, or why are you spend too much time playing?" And she made some sort of comment, so then I went to Facebook to make a 10-year-old rant. I was like
That's
cringing,
so good.
watching, like looking at these
That is so
old Facebook
good.
posts, but I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's perfect reference to that. But let's go ahead and get the train back on the tracks. Wait, because
All right.
yeah, if we have to, because I think let's see, Russell, what you're working? Oh, Kaku, how's that going for you?
Kaku.
Kaku, yeah.
is how
Wait.
as how you pronounce it. So
I think,
how much for this do I want to give away?
or
I'd like
is the
to say-
embargo up?
No. We I got the code the day before it came out.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Um,
Oh,
it's
so there's
already
no embargo.
released.
Okay.
Yeah, it's already released. I think it's on sale on Steam for like $18-ish. I am
We'll put
about
the
40.
Steam link in the description of the video if you would like to
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
or go to
Yeah.
play.
Oh, yeah.
I'm roughly about 40 hours in. If I had to guess,
Shit, 40 hours.
oh yeah, this game's a lot bigger than I saw the trailer and thought I was signing up for like a 3D platformer that would take like 8-10 hours. That's why
Yep.
I told Den, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take that, and then I'll have time to do Evil v Evil after that. Yeah, no, still haven't bought Evil v Evil. Don't know when I'm gonna get to that now.
So is it Kaku or CA?
It's K. It's KAKU.
Is it?
It's Kaku
Is it
Ancient
Kaku
Seal.
Ancient Seal? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm about 40 hours in, 41 as I'm staring at my Steam shit.
I can't even find it.
I like it a lot.
There is a demo, and it's currently 25% off in the Steam summer sale.
Oh wow. Okay.
So be cautious with the demo. They have, since that demo has come out, they have completely overhauled the game.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I played the demo before Dano gave me the code just because I wanted to know what I was getting into first, and I was like, sure, I'll take that. And then I got the code, and the first day was playing the early access version, and that was way different from the demo. And then when it fully released, that's even way different from the early access version I was playing today. So it was kind of a little bit of a mess. Have any of you? So I haven't really dove too much into the newer Assassin's Creeds, the big open worlds. Have any of you guys played Immortals: Phoenix Rising?
No.
I haven't.
Touched it for
I have
2 seconds.
100%ed
Yeah,
Origins and
yeah, for those that have,
just a drop there.
The game plays a lot like that. It's a smaller version of that. There's so far there's 4 main areas of the map, and then there's a kind of sort of city in the cloud. It's not even really a city; it's a location in the clouds that you get to. And every single part of the map, you're gonna end up running into to different people and having to help them. Well, not really help, but take out enemies. The variety of enemies, it's not too different from area to area. You're in the each different land's got its different flavors of the same enemy. Basically,
yeah. So it's like a guy in a red hat, and now he's a guy in a blue hat.
Kinda, yeah. There's like a fire area, and there's a swamp or a water type area. You don't swim a whole lot. I'm trying not to. Even on my written reviews, I don't like giving away the story too much.
Yeah.
What's the gameplay loop like? Like, what's the?
Is it hack and slashy or?
Yeah, you go into area, you kill a bunch of shit, and then eventually you'll run across the temple. There will be, you'll get through the temple. There's a bunch of puzzles throughout the thing. The main bosses for each temple are sort of Dark Souls-ish. They're not quite that difficult, but they'll have a health bar, and every single health bar is ×3. So like you get the health bar down, and then you kind of got a different version of the boss after that. And then you get the health bar down, and then you get the final form, kind of. And then you do it again.
Are they distinct, like, between phases? Because I am not, even as someone who plays a lot of, like, Souls-likes and stuff, I am not a fan of health bar goes 0 refills, unless you're talking, like,
no, that's not what
a distinct phase.
So health bar goes...
I want a fucking tentacle bursting out.
Yeah, health bar goes 0, and then things change. Like the first boss in the like swamp area I was doing, health bar goes 0, and then things get a little more complicated, and then like the base you're standing on to fight him gets smaller.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it goes back to 0 again, and then his abilities change, and then it gets even smaller. So
okay.
Yeah.
So some phases, but not like
that old chestnut. Yep.
yeah. arena gets smaller. The arena gets smaller, Tesla.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
that's just one specific example. The other two bosses I've beaten are a little bit different. I'm in the middle of the fourth area. What I'm assuming is going to happen is I'm going to beat the fourth area, and then I'm going to go to the city in the clouds. And after you beat all four areas, there is a giant door, and obviously something's back there. Whether it's like a last boss battle or whether it's an actual temple, I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I'm definitely in the home stretch. I'm not sure what I'm gonna grade this yet, and there's it's done in Unreal Engine 5, and it's very evidently so.
So that's a good thing or a bad thing?
There are some pretty big performance issues with the game, and I hate to say that because I really like the game. The frame rate's pretty rock solid. I played it a little bit before we got on here. They may have fixed this. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
There is some frame tearing issues with the game. And I actually think for a while the setting was backwards because if you turned VSync off, the frame tearing got better. Which doesn't make any sense at all. That's not the way that's supposed to work. VSync is supposed to specifically fix frame tearing. So that makes zero sense. I will say the cool thing is I'm in the Discord for the game. I have voiced my opinions on the performance issues, and devs are really responsive, so that's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully everything gets fixed. The full version just got released, so, and they're definitely I don't even remember what the hell's the name of this. Bingo Bell? That's quite the name.
Yeah, the developer, and so it's self-published as well. So
yeah,
that's cool.
They do
always.
Have the only other thing they've done is a VR title. Interesting.
So this is like the first time they're kind of going outside of their realm a little bit.
I like that.
Well,
good on them.
Yeah, those are the only two games they've done. Is a VR game called Tales of Glacier, which the art style is very similar to Kaku Ancient Seal. But yeah, it's definitely not something where like you're going to get a unique experience, which isn't always a bad thing. I will say because we talked about a couple episodes ago, like our top 3 for Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
If it weren't for the performance issues, this would probably be on my list. I like it a lot.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I think that's a very performance issues can be patched up, but bad gameplay and stuff can't. So that's a good recommendation for me.
And different people are sensitive to different things. Like Poppin doesn't bother me quite as much as other people, but I've been playing Bethesda games forever, so that's probably why.
You guys were talking about Pokemon earlier. I've got 250 hours in Pokemon Scarlet, so yeah, Poppin doesn't bother me.
Well, that sounds offensive to me for other reasons. Since I play a lot of retro games and I have like a bunch of emulators to fix a bunch of issues, frame tearing drives me fucking nuts.
Okay.
So it's been and some area. There's the 4 main areas of the map. I would say the swamp water area is probably the worst as far as the frame tearing goes. There's also a couple bugs with fast travel that are bothering me a little bit. I can kind of get past them.
Okay.
But that's what I'm talking
about. So the game's big enough to need fast travel then?
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, Unreal Engine 5, it seems like, except for maybe Hellblade 2, like every Unreal Engine 5 game I've played has like massive issues at the start of it for a reason. And I don't really know exactly what early access was like. I only had the early access version for that one day, so I'm not really sure what went on with that. I mean, it's early access, and they've obviously fixed some things. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if they keep going. I reviewed a different game with a code. I'm not so hopeful that game is going to get fixed. The other early access review that I did, that was, I don't even want to mention.
All right, it's not.
This one I have hope for. It's on sale for $18.74 American. That's probably somewhere around 15 pounds or so.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's currently 25% off on the Steam
Yeah.
store.
Um,
And I like, I don't know about anybody else, but like I have a lot more time when it comes to like engine based performance issues when it's very small teams and indie titles and things
Yes.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
so,
You get less leeway from me if you're like a massive studio. Not
yeah.
because it's necessarily the developers or fault, because they're probably put under crunch by the CEOs and things like that. But you know, they
Yeah.
have the time, they have the resources to fix it, whereas little indie studios might not. So if the gameplay loop is good and it's a fun game, then I'm more likely to just sort of ignore some of the bits and
Right.
bobs at the side. Yeah.
Yeah, and I will actually say I played about an hour and a half on the Steam Deck. The one thing that stuck out to me is I didn't notice the frame tearing, which is strange. I wonder if maybe I turned down the FPS, because I've got it set up where it runs 60 FPS on PC. I wonder if I turned the frame rate down. That wouldn't solve itself, which doesn't really make any sense. But like a lot of the things Unreal Engine 5 games do don't really make any sense. But yeah, I'll be monkeying with that. It is either playable or verified for the Steam Deck. I forget which. Playable.
Yeah.
There is for us Steam Deckers there is a difference.
Yeah.
A lot of people playable can be just as good as verified. Playable can be just like you have to bring up your on-screen keyboard to type in your account information
Yeah. Okay.
to a bunch of other shit. And just because it's not
Yeah.
playable or verified doesn't necessarily mean you can't get it to work. But that's a discussion for. But yeah, I would highly recommend it. At least maybe go check out the demo. But if you play the demo and like it, like keep in mind they've overhauled a lot. Even the graphics from the demo to the now version are way different.
Okay.
In a good way.
Yeah.
So, not to cut you off there, Russell. I got a text message and they want me to come in early to work. So I've got 10 more minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to toss it to you, Fraser, if you want to go ahead and tell people what you've been reviewing and working on. Don't worry about me until next week. I might even make some YouTube shorts to kind of talk about some of the stuff I've been working on. But then, you know, I can talk more on it next week or summarize what I've been doing. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and tell them, and then when I come back to hop back down in the chair, that's just going to be your sign to kind of let's get this wrapped up. I'm so sorry about this, guys. Like I've got to train somebody at work tonight, and he's like, yeah, actually, I need you there 30 minutes earlier than what I was going to be originally.
All right.
I'll be right back.
Well, that's 5 points off him already.
Exactly.
You need to come in early, train him. No.
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
All right, mate. We'll see you soon.
I'll be right back.
So, I have been doing a deep dive into indie horrors over the last month. I have played some fucking brilliant indie horrors. So this time around, I'm playing something called Shift 87. Now, it's only on Steam. It's not out yet. It comes out 4 days. In 4 days. The idea of it is they've called it an observational horror. Now, essentially, it's a spot the difference game.
Okay.
You are I'm assuming you're like some sort of security guard, and the first level is an office, like an office, like the floor of an office. So you walk through, and you have to take in everything. You're just like looking at everything around you, and then you walk to the elevator, and you get in, and the doors open, and you're back where you started. And then you have to walk through the building or just the office floor, and there's something different. It could be tiny, or it could be like in your face different. And they call it like it's a horror. It's more of the atmosphere.
I'm not gonna like that. that sounds, as someone who lives alone,
Yep.
that
Yeah.
sounds terrifying.
So
Because
there's
if I walked into my living room and something was a little bit different, I would know that there was something off.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I would not necessarily be able to tell you what it was.
And so you're walking through and you're like, was that always there? Fuck, I don't know. And then you look over there and you're like, no, that's all the same. It could be something as simple as the cup. There's usually a cup there. Now there's 2 cups. Or
Hmm.
it could be all the desks are fucking floating in the air. And you're like, oh, well, that's obviously what's wrong here. And so there's 3 levels, and every level has 22 like anomalies, they call them. There's only 1 per like turn. So you walk through, and it took me ages to figure out like what the fuck I was actually doing, because you get your first run, and that's like your base run, and that's what you're comparing everything to. And then the next run, there's something different. If you get it wrong, or you don't choose anything, you go back to your base run to kind of take another run through to see, like, this is the base again. So I missed that completely at the start, and I couldn't figure out, like, nothing was different. And I'm like, I swear everything's the same. So I'd walk to the elevator, and the doors would open, and everything was the same again. But there was like a little panel of lights that were just above my vision, so I had to look up a little bit to kind of see, and they change. But it's cool. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I found all 22 anomalies in the first level, so I'm on to the second level now, and it's fun. Like, because I own it, I can't figure out how to find how much it costs, but I don't think
It's
it's
going
much.
to. I've just added it to my wish list on Steam because that definitely sounds like something that'll keep me up at night.
Yeah.
I have 2. There's no price or anything though.
Okay. I
Yeah,
don't think it's
there's
a lot.
no
I
price
don't
on
think
it.
it's a lot. I think, and so it's developed by a team called Pixel Split.
Yeah.
I don't believe they have done much else. I did find that they did a narrative first-person psycho thriller called
I'm
Reveal,
up. Yeah.
So
and
yeah,
that's on my wish list now because this is so good that I
Oh,
might
that came
want.
out earlier than that.
Yeah,
That came out
yeah,
earlier this year.
yeah. It did it? I think it was
yeah,
like December or something.
no,
No,
it
March.
came
Came out
out in
March
March.
Oh,
this year.
all right.
I own it. So
Oh, okay, brilliant. What's your go?
I cannot give a verdict because I bought like 20 games during the
Yeah.
Steam sale. So
Okay, sure. Yeah. So yeah, that's and so I believe Reveal is actually on console, but
Yeah, I can
Shift
look that up.
87 is only on PC at the moment.
I might have to also get Reveal. But despite the fact that I know that Steam's you have this, so you might like this, is not necessarily
No, it's not.
a good thing to go for.
that is a light way of putting it.
Yeah.
When I was looking up Shift 87, it compares it to Phantasmophobia. Interesting.
Okay. I
Okay,
haven't played
see
that,
if
but
you
I've heard that it's great.
It's a great game. I don't know about that comparison. It also says similar
well,
games I've played is What Remains of Edith Finch.
So
see, the
there's
reason that I am like I will definitely buy and play Reveal even if there's like a 2% similarity is because my Steam says similar to games you've played, and then it just says Animal Well, and I'm like, damn, sign me up,
done.
motherfucker. I'm
This
playing
is a
that shit.
scary
Like,
animal well.
Animal Well's scary enough. Like that that manticore, like
Oh,
the fox statue, well,
yeah.
the fox ghost that chases you around the place, like Oh, that game had such unsettling vibes for
I
something that had
love
like
it.
no combat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
that's the same with this. There's no combat whatsoever, but it's so
give me all
fucking
those
weird
unsettling vibes.
and spooky,
Yeah.
and you're going through and you're like, what? What's that? And you're like, no, that's always been there. No, don't worry. And then there was one particular bit where I would always walk to this desk and there was like all the stuff on the desk. I was like, there has to be something on this desk. There wasn't. It was just, I was just making things up in my head. So like,
Me looking for my house keys
yeah,
in the
that's
morning
right.
before I go
They're
to work.
there. I know I put them there. So yeah, it's another hit for me. I've been relatively lucky in the past month of like diving into these indie horrors because I've found that, like, indie horrors, when they don't have like quite like so much of a budget, they go real puzzle heavy. And
Yeah.
some of the puzzles and the mechanics of the puzzles are just like, this doesn't work. I'm not I can't do this. But yeah, recently, so I did I think we talked about them last week. What was it called? Scholar's Mate. I did that. That was like an escape room situation where you're solving puzzles. You can't solve the next puzzle until you solve this puzzle. And then there was like a patrolling entity that killed you if it saw you. So you had to sneak around solving puzzles. It's like, what the f- is going on? And then yeah, still wakes the deep. Like I wouldn't call it indie, but it's like, I don't know. I don't think
It's
I had
well,
a huge, but yeah,
yeah.
it's fucking
I mean, at the very least, it's well, it's probably between indie and like double A.
mm,
We've
brilliant.
I feel like we've like lost double A, and I want it back.
Yeah,
Like,
because
give me
that
more double A.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, I agree. I agree. So yeah, that's I'll have uh I'll have that review out probably tomorrow for Shift 87. Um I've finished the game. Found
mm,
all 66 anomalies. Some of them are fucking hard. So it's like it's fun and it's frustrating because you're like, it's that, it has to be that, and it's not. And then yeah, the next one that I started was Flintlock, and I'm
I've
loving
not
it.
started it yet.
I
Is
was
it
gonna
good?
say
Is it good?
I'm interested to see how you like it because
Yeah,
that game is not getting great reviews right now.
I know.
But
I don't. So I didn't realize I'm going to use the word Souls like because that's the only word that I know. It's not Souls like, it's Souls light. Like it has
Okay,
it. Yep.
I'm just gonna say, a Souls light action RPG is just an action RPG, and everyone who only started playing Elden Ring like 2 years ago has to realize games came out with
Yep.
action adventure combat
Yep.
before
Yep.
Souls, and
Yep.
they need to get their heads out their asses and fucking get over it. As someone who
Yep.
loves Souls
Yep.
games,
Yep.
stop it. Fucking everything is not the Dark Souls of games.
So
I saw someone
this.
on Twitter even
Yep.
say, "Oh, it's like Souls but not hard," and I'm like, "So it's an action RPG? Fuck off! Like,
It
why are we
has
pretending new
so
genres exist?
it
Like,
has so many similarities. You've got your fucking bomb. You got your bonfires. You've got your
checkpoints.
bonfires.
Yeah,
Checkpoints. Yeah.
checkpoints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I I'm loving it. It's hard. It's very hard. There's
Okay.
the combat in it is not quite right for me. It,
Okay.
you're given you're given a parry, but every enemy has a non-parryable attack.
So a bit like
You're
Lies of P.
I haven't played Lies of P yet. But and then you've got to dodge. But what happens is the enemy will start to glow, not glow red, but he has a little red thing on his chest, and you're like, cool, this move is not parryable. But it happens
So
so quickly and the combat
mm,
is so quick that I fuck it up every time. Like
Yeah.
I just can't quite get the hang of it. And just the fact that even the normal everyday enemies that you fight have this unparryable attack. And the
Yeah.
way they've done it is you earn points or XP with every kill you get, and the more kills you get without being hit, like a multiplier goes up. And
Mhm.
so you start to earn more points and more points and more points. But the moment that you get hit, that multiplier goes back to zero, and you like bank those points. So
Mhm.
you don't need to go anywhere to bank the points. You can just bank them whenever you want. But the problem is that these attacks are so like random that I get hit when I don't get hit. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like you go to
Okay.
dodge, and like their cape will hit you, and you're like, it didn't fucking hit me, and I've lost all
Yeah.
my points.
It kind of sounds like a bit like a mix between like a sort of standard action RPG. The
Mm-hmm.
things glow red, then parryable, non-parryable. That's
Yep.
very
Yep.
Lies of P.
Yep.
Because Dark Souls never does that. No one glows.
No.
It's like,
No.
you
You
just
just
have to
fucking
deal.
you just deal with
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
just die.
Yeah.
But like and like almost like a Devil May Cry. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're building up your multiplier by
Yep.
doing cool moves. Like,
Yep. Yep.
so
Definitely.
like hack and slash and action RPG. I would just like everything to stop being compared to Souls games, I think.
It's just a
Like,
so it's
I've
a
not
heck.
played it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've not played it yet, so it might be more Soulsy than what I've seen.
I
But
think I think the
action
this
RPG is already a thing, and Souls likes are technically just action
an action
RPGs.
RPG. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I agree. I completely agree. Um, but yeah, so it and then it has the like the two-phase bosses, and
Yeah.
you've got a gun that can interrupt certain attacks. Like it's I'm
Bloodborne.
really enjoying it. Don't get me wrong. I am really
Mm.
enjoying it. But we all know that Fraser sucks at these sort of games. I find them so hard. It's
Has it
the
got co-op?
no, no, it's the
Oh.
parrying timing that I'm struggling with. I can dodge fucking attacks till till the seals come home, but I yeah, when I need to start parrying them, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, by the way, this attack isn't parryable. Fuck you. And then you lose all these points. It's like, ah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got a cute little like fox thing that fucking hangs around with you. He's pretty sweet. The storyline is it's fine. It's nothing like special yet. Um, I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna carry on playing it. That's probably what I'm gonna do when I jump off here. I'll just jump
Okay.
straight into that and put a few more hours into it. It's just the combat mechanics are really kind of annoying me. It's like, you're trying to collect these points, you're trying to collect this XP, and then it's like, nah.
I'm looking forward to giving it a go. Probably on Sunday because I need to
Hmm.
write up the Flock review tomorrow and stuff.
Yeah.
But the developers, A44 Games,
Hmm.
they made one of my, and it is actually a Souls like. They made one of my favorite Souls likes. It's called Ashen.
Souls like's not a thing, right? It's just
Yeah,
action adventure.
it's just an action RPG. No, but they no, Ashen's a really really good game.
Yeah.
Which does have co-op.
Okay.
And so I think, yeah, if the combat, but the combat in that was, as you say, sometimes a little bit stiff,
Hmm.
sometimes a little bit unintuitive.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see. But yeah, it was uh it was a Souls like in the fact that if you died, you just lost all your XP.
Hmm.
Because I
That's the
think
same.
that's the
That's the
thing
same
that.
with this. If you die as well,
All right,
that
okay.
that banked XP is lost, and then you
Hmm.
have to go back to where you died to get it back.
Okay, so it's a bit of a Souls like then. Yeah.
Yeah, but they've just
I've not.
added.
Eh,
Yeah, they've just added the way that you can collect more XP by like including this
yeah,
like if you do it without being hit, and if you put some flair into your attacks, you get more points or
yeah. They're
XP.
like Dark Souls times Devil May Cry.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. But no, it's
I'm
fun.
not gonna lie.
I'm
That sounds sweet.
it is fun. There's a couple of like enemies that like are hard to fight. Like I found the spiders, like I don't know, they just have this the way that they shoot their poison, like I'm always getting hit no matter what I do. Their
Mm,
poison attacks hit me. Whether I'm jumping, dodging, parrying, whatever it is, that poison just gets you. So
yeah.
I don't know, mate. It's definitely a skill issue. Like don't I'm not saying that it's anything but a skill issue. But like I'm not terrible at games, but it's hard.
I don't. Is Nathan like logged off to go to work, and we
Yeah, I
just
think
keep
he has. I
talking?
think he just
Like,
put a like from American Pie when he like throws
eh,
the thing over the webcam. I think he's just done that.
does that mean OBS is running forever? I'm so confused.
I'm so confused as well. Yeah. Well, shall we like kind of just wrap things up then, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't.
Let's give a
I
good
guess.
outro
Yeah. Yeah.
so that he can cut out me shouting at the internet about Souls likes.
No,
At the
no,
very
I love
least.
it. We're keeping
No,
that. Don't you worry.
that's gotta fucking stay in. I
Yeah,
mean,
right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a gamer social club podcast if at one
No.
point I didn't get irrationally angry about people on the internet, like
Do
because it happens
you
every time.
do you
Like
want to talk about your backlog in the summer games? Like, is there anything you want to
we
say
could
about
do
that?
that. Well, all I want to say is that if you're on Twitter, that's right.
Hmm.
I'm calling you. I'm calling not you out specifically. I'm calling the people on Twitter out.
Yeah.
If you're on Twitter and you're like, oh, I don't know, it seems like games are like on the downturn, or there's like no good games, then maybe you just don't like games, bro.
Hmm.
Don't
Yeah.
know, like
I've
because
yeah.
over the past 2, 3, 4
5.
weeks,
Oh,
months,
yeah.
like literally, there's been a new good game coming out every single week
Yep. Yep.
on Steam. I mean PC especially because there's so many games coming out there. But
Hmm.
Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, even
Yeah.
Nintendo,
Yep.
they're getting loads of indie titles. So
I feel
if
like
you
people
wanna, if you
forget
wanna,
about third party, right? Not everything's about exclusive. Like, there's so
who
many
cares?
amazing third party games that
Yeah,
my pile is like if it falls over, I'm done. Like it's so big.
yeah. My
And
backlog isn't. I've got a backlog spreadsheet, and it is not up to date.
yeah,
And on that backlog spreadsheet, just to complete all of the games on it would take me almost 2,000 hours, and that's just to complete the story.
wow,
And that's not
yeah,
including like the 50 games I have bought since the start of the year.
yeah, I know.
So I just like, and I appreciate that not everybody likes the same types of games. I'm not saying you have to like every type of game, but we are in an era where there is just doubly indie bangers coming
Hmm.
out
Yeah,
weekly,
yeah,
and
but it,
some very good triple A games as well. So if you
yeah,
think that the industry's in a slump of games, I just feel like you probably don't like games.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
mean, just once again, and I'll say it every time I'm on the podcast when I get the time to come on it, just play some indies, bro. Like
yeah,
literally,
yeah.
this is your call out. This is your reminder to play some fucking indies. Like,
So like, I don't know where I found the time, but like last week I've managed to finish Jedi Survivor, and like it's been sitting in my backlog since it came out. I just loaded up Metal Gear Solid 5, and I'm trying to get through that. I played through Ground Zeroes, had loads of fun with that. jump straight into Metal Gear Solid 5. Turns out I've played it before at some point in the last 10 years. And I don't know, you can't delete your save. It's continue. There's no new game. There's no fucking anything. And so I've just had to load up my save and kind of figure out what I was doing. So, can you believe that Metal Gear Solid 5 is 10 years old? It came out in 2014. Like the Phantom Pain.
I mean, I can believe that, but
Yeah.
I'm also a
fucking
lot older than that, so.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't. I mean, I don't want to think about it. Like, I remember it coming out.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about the fact that it's 10 years old.
No. Yeah.
For some reason, I'm reminded of those memes that say like what you think Zelda was 20 years ago, and it'll show you like Link 2 or Ocarina of Time, and then it'll say what Zelda actually was 20 years ago, and it's Wind Waker.
Stop.
Yep.
Just stop.
So,
Right? Oh my god.
I feel like I just threw out my knee from you saying that sentence out loud. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I can't I'll just pull out the date. Not that 9 Inch Nails, the Downward Spiral album.
yeah, don't do this to me.
I
Don't do
think
this to me on live on the internet.
live on the internet. When was that? So 1994.
That was yeah, okay.
So that's 30 years, right? They are doing a collaboration with Doc Martens, and they're doing like a Downward Spiral Doc Marten boot. And I was like, probably need to get that.
That sounds expensive. That makes
Yeah.
my bank account hurt.
Yeah. But like,
just because Doc Martens aren't cheap to begin with. So.
30 years, man. What the fuck? Yeah. Anyway, let's move on before we all fucking get depressed about how old we are.
Or
already
turn
there,
into
already
dust.
Yeah. Well, seeing as though Nathan's decided to leave, do you guys want to plug yourselves real quick?
I will. I'll do a quick plug, and then I will sign off because it is now 2:30 in the morning where I am.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Damn.
So yeah. Well, I'm Lady V. Go by Harabiel on Twitter, and you'll probably have seen some of my random little indie game reviews on the website. So feel free to follow me on Twitter. All of the names and stuff will be down below.
They sure
I
will
mostly
be.
play indies, and everything in between. And make sure that you follow the site and read all of the reviews, because I work quite hard in doing all of the photos and optimization on them. So,
and all the things, and you do such a brilliant job of it. But yeah, we'll link all that down in the description, definitely. Russell.
Thanks, guys.
I mean, I've got Twitter. You can follow me there, which I imagine all that info will be in the description or in the comments.
It's like C's and V's and W's, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head what it is.
Oh, mine FFD Pod.
That's it. Yeah.
My @ is from an old podcast I had that I've scraped from the internet since then. I've also been playing a lot of Super Mario World and Mario 3 ROM hacks lately.
Yeah.
And I downloaded some tools, and I don't know. Maybe I'll have something coming out personally on that front one of these days.
Cool.
But
cool.
I'll talk more about that when I get there.
Sounds good. And yeah, I'm Fraser. You can find me at FBomb with an E, so that's FBOMBE Gaming. At the moment, I'm currently playing through XCOM The Bureau. So you know XCOM is a turn-based. This is not. So it's a third-person 360 shooter shooting aliens. It's pretty fun. So I'm gonna be uploading that stuff on YouTube at some point. But yeah, like that's really it. Thanks for coming, guys, today. It has been lovely talking to you all. We've had some fun. We've had some fun today.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll link.
Please tell us what video game genres that you cannot play in the
Yeah,
comments. Like,
definitely. And I'll link everything in the description below. We've got a whole bunch of reviews and stuff coming out on the Gamer Social Club website. And that's a .ca, not .com, like Nathan said last week. You won't be able to find a gamersocialclub.com. But yeah,
no, we
that's
are
really it.
Canadian based. Like,
We absolutely
yeah.
are.
And if you want to argue with me about Souls likes, don't do it in the comments. Just come find me on Twitter. Like,
Yeah, I will fight you on that.
yeah.
Love it. All right, guys. Well, Nathan's running the OBS, so we'll just say goodbye and leave, and then
Go
he can
figure
deal
it
with
out.
Edit
the.
that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Bye, guys. It was
Awesome.
so good
All
to
right,
chat.
guys. Yeah,
So good to chat to you again, Fraser. It was so lovely to actually chat to you, Russell. Like,
yeah,
it was good to see
definitely.
you guys.
Likewise. All right, we'll talk soon. Ciao.
Yeah.
All right, later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.